Hi, I'm Ann Williams.
And I'm Eric Brown from Louisville, Colorado, and we're looking forward to speaking with Dave Sheehan on the next Connect broadcast.
We'll be talking about Massage Mastery Online and where our industry is headed into the future here in North America. We look forward to seeing you soon.
For this presentation, I'm going to discuss soft tissue techniques for the plantar surface of the foot. And there is a condition known as plantar fasciitis. I'm not saying I'm going to specifically treat that condition because I'm going to treat general foot conditions. But no doubt the focus will be around that sort of area of the foot. Now, I'm going to use a fascial wax by Songbird, so a little bit, not much, and apply that onto the plantar surface of the foot. Okay, then you can just blend all that in. Try not for the foot to shine. You almost want it to have like a little sheen, yeah, to that sort of area. Now, the patient is going to be moving as we go through all the techniques here. So it's almost like massage with motion. I don't call it that particularly, but if you want to use that phrase, that's fine, because that's what we're simply doing. We're utilizing a soft tissue technique, and the patient is going through active range of motion. So what we're going to do, the patient is going to be lifting a foot like this. This is known as dorsiflexion, and they're going to go into plantar flexion. I might get the patient to turn the foot this way, which is known as inversion, and then this way we will go into eversion. So what we're going to do first of all is let the patient bring the foot up here. Now, there are many techniques we can use. So I'm going to start with almost on the back of my sort of like hand here, my proximal phalanx here and my knuckle, if you like, and I'm going to almost like apply pressure. And what we're going to do is we are going to allow him to start in plantar, which shortens the tissues, and then he is then going to bring the foot up. Okay, so we'll start here. So I'm going to apply some pressure. When you're ready, he is going to then bring his foot up into dorsiflexion, and he's off again and again. So I'm going to use pressure coming through that. You can see that he naturally wants to bring the toes up and out, which is fine. Off you go again, because it will work. Think of other muscles that control the toes, which would be the flexor digitorum longus, okay? And then we've also got the great toe, which is called the hallux. So we've got the flexor hallucis longus as well. Obviously we have the brevis muscles, which are the shorter ones. Okay, when you're ready, off you go. And we are working deep into that sort of area, good. And again, off you go. The plantar fascia, okay, is a connective tissue that attaches from that medial side of the calcaneus around here. And then it almost spans out like 5 fingers as it comes up. But most of the time it tends to be pain around that sort of area where my thumb is. So these techniques would be okay. There's many causes of that condition. Okay, but if you do have someone with plantar pain, then these techniques would be good. Off you go. So the patient is just going to repeat that motion. I tend to do this because it's got a solid structure, if you like, the foot, because we weight bear on it all day, every day. Okay, then we can use maybe more pressure than you would maybe on the dorsal surface of the foot. Okay, so I'm going to be working around that area. But what I like to do sometimes is, this is nice, I use that technique often. But then if I use my thumbs, I don't use a single thumb, I try to reinforce my thumb. Okay, so one thumb reinforced onto the other one. Start, doesn't matter where you start. We'll start in this case on the lateral side. When you're ready, Max? And then we can just glide down that lateral side, good, and then slowly come down towards the central, good. It tends to have like a bubble wrap sort of sensation coming down. It's hard to say exactly what that is from that. And again, you okay? Pressure?
Great.
Okay, but it's very effective, these techniques. And again. Good. You could almost try this as a little test. If you ask your patient to stand and then ask them to slowly reach to touch their toes, and if they cannot reach, maybe just measure that distance. Okay, so let's say they are 10 centimeters from the ground, right, when they're bending forward. Just watch it doesn't irritate the back. And then do these techniques on both bilateral, both feet, not at the same time, but obviously one side then the other side. And then retest the distance, and you'll be amazed that you'll probably see an improvement. Okay, and I guarantee it will improve by 2 or 3 centimeters. Why? Because when you think about it, the plantar fascia, if you think about like the Tom Myers fascial lines, okay, the anatomy trains, there's one, he starts on the superficial back line, which starts at the plantar fascia, then it becomes the Achilles tendon, and then the 2 heads of the gastroc become the 3 heads of the hamstring, and then it goes all the way up to the occipital bone. Okay, so we are connected by this long, and he has many of them in his book. Okay, so by treating this sort of area, has a relationship to the rest of the body. Okay, so you know, just bear that in mind. Try that test if you want to. So using thumbs again, when you're ready, off you go. From there. If you don't like to do the dorsiflexion of a whole foot, then what you can do is you can just simply extend the toes. So we can start in flexion, watch you don't get cramp, and off you go, and you just extend in the toes. Good, and you can work through that. These are some of my favorite techniques from there. Some people are ticklish, but it's not a ticklish sort of pressure. It's quite firm pressure, and I think it feels quite nice to that area. I have to be careful on Max because he does have a couple of little blisters here where he's been running, so I don't want to be irritating him. And again, working through. Okay, so back to the knuckles. I can vary it. Off you go again. From there, I can change my angles. Okay, I can. It fits nice. The shape of the hand typically fits nice into the plantar surface. And off you go again. I can glide, focusing on that sort of middle knuckle pressure. Okay. Perfect. Good. And again, coming down through that. Can you see my patient wanted a little perform like a natural eversion? Try that, Max. So just bring your foot the other way. The other way. Eversion. There we go. Okay, so we can get, but every technique I'm doing, the patient is moving for each of that. Okay, just going to do a little cross technique here. So same again, so you can lift your foot up, good. And I'm going to cross the fibers and come off. Off you go again. Gliding, almost like a transversing of the tissues. As long as your thumbs are kept in this horizontal plane, it's okay. Where the thumbs have a problem is where you try to push and you're almost like hyperextend the thumb coming across there. Technique okay? Working there. Okay, and then I'll probably do the same on the other foot, depending what I found was the condition. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Sheehan from The Connect Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. I've got Eric Brown and Anne Williams with me today from Colorado. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us. It's so nice to catch up, and as we said pre-record, that I've known about you guys for so long, but have never had an opportunity to actually meet and greet. So yeah, welcome aboard to our Connect Show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Now, as usual, being sort of incredibly studious about where you're at in your sort of journey, which is a long journey, I had this bio that was sent through on both of you, so slightly overwhelming. So rather than going through that, which would probably take about 3 hours, do you just want to tell the folks at home a little bit about your background?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm Anne Williams, and I have kind of come up through the massage therapy profession like so many other people. I was a student first of massage, and then I taught at a massage school and had a private practice. And then eventually I moved into curriculum development and was the lead instructor at the school where I worked, and then their director of education. This was Ashmead College in Washington State. And from Ashmead College, I was invited to join Associated Bodywork and Massage Professionals as their director of education. And I served in that position for about 13 years. And in that position, I worked a lot with schools and students and instructors. I'm very passionate about instructional design and about writing and production and how we make education really vivid for students. And about 3 years ago, Eric and I decided to pursue our lifelong dream of running Massage Mastery online and creating digital multimedia textbooks and continuing education for the massage profession.
All right, brilliant. Eric.
Yeah, and I graduated from massage school in 1989. I popularized chair massage in Canada in the early 90s. Always been interested in technology. So in the late 90s, I was one of the first ones doing online education. In the mid, around 2005, I think, we were doing podcasts for the profession. And this was before anybody knew what a podcast was, so we called it Massage Therapy Radio.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And that morphed into what was known as World Massage Conference, which was the biggest event in massage history, just year after year for about a decade.
Well, you certainly touched a lot of therapists in Australia. I think for a lot of people that might be the reason behind why they might know the name. That association with that, talk about being an entrepreneur. It was an amazing, amazing risk for you as well to move into that space, which is would have been fairly daunting back then, but. Yeah, World Massage Conference you're at?
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. The technology really didn't exist to do a conference at that time. And, we had people from all over the world that we were coordinating. It was crazy. And we had some great Aussie presenters too through the years. Some of them associated with the association. And then ABMP actually purchased World Massage Conference from us. So I'm not sure if your members have access to those resources or not. I know you provide some really great resources for your members, including the webinars, your journal that we have here. There's a really good article on aromatherapy in this one that I've read.
We can cross-promote, Eric. There's no problem with that. We're very comfortable with cross-promoting our association givings to members. So absolutely. So there is an article in the upcoming journal.
There was one in the last journal.
That's right.
Yeah, I did an article on some of the newer research on the psychology of aromatherapy.
Ah, lovely.
And it's fascinating.
Absolutely fascinating.
So there you go, folks. You got to dig back through that mail.
Most people don't know about Anne is that she is an aromatherapy expert. There's nobody that knows more about aromatherapy than Anne.
That is not true. I'm not, and that's not true.
Throw a few good words out there like Cineol 8.
1/8 Cineol. Get it right. Okay. This is now you get an insight into what our date nights look like. They look a lot like this.
Our work days.
Super exciting. There'd be a lot to pull on. Hey, so we did say that from moving from the past, we wanted to talk about, because you guys would have such an amazing insight into your own industry with so much history. So as far as looking forward, we're coming out. Well, hopefully we're coming out of some pretty dark times with COVID. We're still very much aware of what's going on around us from a health perspective. But I think if you are an optimist, you'll say that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to live with this. But as far as the industry is concerned, we've obviously been impacted out here. I think my town of Melbourne, it was the most locked down town in the world. So I can certainly vouch for how it has had an effect on our therapists back home. But so moving forward, though, where do you see the industry heading? Is it changing?
Yeah, I think always, our industry is slowly evolving, but there's a strong tradition of massage and body work in the United States, as I'm sure there is in Australia. And many of our old traditions move forward with us. And that can be a real strength for the profession, and it also can be a challenge for the profession. I think one of the issues we're dealing with, particularly in the United States, I don't know if this is an issue for you in Australia as well, is there's actually more demand than there are therapists. And schools can't graduate enough therapists for the number of jobs that are out there in the profession. So there's a real shortage, and that can feel really scary. So I think as educators, one of the things Eric and I talk about a lot is what needs to happen in massage education for students to feel like this is a viable career option for them. I think one of the things that happens here is that students kind of get to a career college, or they get to a school and they say, if I do med tech, or if I do this program or that program, it's the same amount of training time, it's around the same amount of money, and yet these other programs have a lot of the program online, where massage has really been slow to embrace technology. And it's not, please don't get me wrong, I don't believe that everything in massage therapy should be taught online. I absolutely don't believe that. But I really believe in a blended curriculum, because adult learners today, they learn in the margins of their lives. They've got children, they've got jobs, they've got elderly parents they're looking after. And if education can't fit their schedule, then they're going to opt for a different career path, or they're just going to opt out. So I'm really interested in how we create amazing blended curriculum that makes massage as a career more acceptable and more accessible for people.
And you're talking, I guess, from an undergraduate perspective there. So the actual teaching of the qualification to be reviewed, but also in the PD space, professional development space, which I think you're into now with your massage mastery online. I've got to say, from our perspective, with our own, we call it the Halo platform, our online platform, we've seen exponential growth there over the last couple of years, because for obvious reasons, people haven't been able to get out to do face to face. But no doubt that's also meant that there's probably, and looking at the stuff that you guys are doing and outputting, and as an instructional designer, and not everyone probably knows that term, but it basically means that you're putting a lot of effort and a lot of thought into the way that online is delivered, as opposed to just going blah. So did you want to talk a little bit about the setup that you guys have got now with Massage Mastery Online?
Go for it, Eric.
Yeah. So we've been pulling people through the past couple of decades through technology, because typically massage therapists in the profession are slow adopters of technology, and there are a lot of benefits to it. So what we've worked at creating is basically a textbook that we feel is better than a textbook.
Sure.
It is fully, it's rich, multimedia, interactive, engaging, and built, like Anne says, she's an instructional designer, in a way that meets learners where they are. And that includes all kinds of features in these books. So it's not your grandma's ebook. It's a very different experience. And unfortunately, people have had so many bad experiences, with digital textbooks or digital courses, because a lot of them are just poorly designed.
Or they're PDFs. Like, a lot of times people say, a digital textbook, I don't want a PDF of the content. And that's not what we're creating, but that's their association. So, within instructional design, though, just to kind of clarify that term, it really is about making the acquisition of information more efficient, effective, and enjoyable. That's what instructional design does.
Absolutely.
So it helps that learner and it's really all about multiple approaches to content, giving learners so many different options for how they take in and assimilate the content. So not just deciding it's going to be this one way, but giving them 3 ways to do it and letting them choose what works for them.
So have you got the sense, the smell sensory in there yet? into your online learning?
There is some technology coming around that, but I'm gonna stick with the real meal deal.
Well,
Nothing can replace that.
I got to say, when that technology comes about and is out there, I'm sure that you guys will be the first to tap into it.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because you think about it, like if we leap 5 years, 10 years into the future, just thinking about where technology is now, maybe we will be teaching hands-on skills online, because people will have little masks over their heads and there'll be a little hologram body. I mean, we don't know where it's going to go. We have to just sort of keep moving and keep figuring out. Like, Eric is the star of being able to predict how to solve problems with technology.
Yeah.
And I get to sit in my office and write content and create presentations and design instruction.
Sure.
But he's the one figuring out how our website delivers all of that.
Perfect. I love innovation. When I was younger, I remember reading there was a book that used to come out. I don't know if it was annual, but it was called the Popcorn Report. Did you ever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
the futurist.
That's right. So, yeah. So looking into the future and making those sorts of predictions. So I love that sort of stuff. Well, that's great. So what types of topics are you covering with your online platform? Are they straight massage, or are they into business or running your business, marketing? How does it all gel?
Yeah, so there really will be two parts to Massage Mastery Online. One is curriculum for school. So these will be textbooks, and they'll cover everything that's covered in a typical 1,000-hour program in a massage school, from business, ethics, anatomy, physiology, pathology, techniques, the whole gamut. And then from those textbooks, because they are they're so rich and have so much information in them, we are spinning a number of continuing education courses off of those as well, as well as producing continuing education courses specifically for the platform. And again, those will run a really wide range of subjects.
We're really like a lot of variety ourselves, so we haven't focused, either of us. Well, Eric has really done a lot of work in the chair massage sort of space, and I've probably done a lot of work in the aromatherapy space. But I like lots of eclectic stuff. I love Ayurvedic bodywork, and I love great Swedish massage, and I love a little myofascial release mixed in with all of it. So we're really not going to focus on just one sort of form of massage and try to teach somebody mastery of that form. We're really going to have a lot of variety and have a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
And it should only take us about 10 years to get to where we want to be with content.
So
we want to make learning fun, even if it's business. I said, again, we want to make learning fun, even if it's business.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. People need to be engaged, right? That's the whole thing. We don't want people turning off. Website. So where can people find some information?
They can go to massagemastery.online, and we have, we have numerous free things that they can try once they get on the website. So they just go to the information tab, because it will ask them if they want to log in or if they want information, and they can just kind of explore and download or access some of our free stuff so that they can get a feel for it.
Okay, brilliant. And I'm assuming it's either happened or it will happen that all of these courses will become accredited with our association. I don't know whether you've been down that path with the association yet, but I'm sure that members will be able to get credits in the PD space using the particular website that you're referring to. So that'll be a great thing. Is there anything else you want to finish up with, guys? It's so nice being talking to you.
No, just that we've really appreciated how you've reached out and how Australia has sort of been part of our journey from the very beginning. We did a number of podcasts in the early, when we first launched, with preventing disease transmission in a massage practice, which we launched right as COVID sort of happened. And we've got a great response from the Australian career people, and they've always been delightful and lovely. So thank you for that.
Yeah, brilliant. It's all about being global citizens at the moment, isn't it? So we're really enjoying the fact that we're actually accessing people like yourselves all around the world, and this program brings that to them. All right. Well, Anne, Eric, again, thank you so much for your time today. And folks at home, please check out their website for further information about the online learning platform. So thanks very much, everyone, for listening in today, and we'll see you next time. See you.
Thank you.